Hey guys, welcome back to another budget duelist video. So in today's video, I have a Shaddoll zombie deck profile for you guys. Now this deck profile is not that budget because the zombies are pretty expensive nowadays, but the deck is really strong. So the entire idea behind this deck is to build a deck that is very disruptive. This deck is made to disrupt your opponent, not making them go into their plays, and because the deck is good at grinding, you have the ability to grind more than your opponent, which allows you to win the duel. So without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. So starting off with the monsters, I use one Mathematician. Now Mathematician is the best starter for the Shaddolls because you normal summon it and you can send out a Shaddoll to your graveyard, which goes into your combos. It's also good with the zombies because if I send out like Mizuki or I send out Glow Up Bulb, I can, pretty much go into my zombie plays as well. So I think this is a very universal card and works pretty well in this deck. I play one Dino Wrestler Pankratops. If you don't know what this card does, you should definitely get a copy and use this card. It's pretty strong. It's very universal. It can work in pretty much any deck. Every deck that I make, I have a Pankratops because it has 2600 attack. It's a special summon monster and its effect is really strong. For my hand traps, I use one Effect Veiler and two Ash Blossoms. If I get another Ash Blossom, I would use three. The Effect Veiler is there because it's a light target for my Shaddoll Fusion, and it also has a good ability effect to negate my opponent's monster effect. So yeah, these are my hand traps. They're pretty limited, but they do get the job done. Moving on to the Shaddoll pieces, I use double Schemata. Schemata is the Foolish Burial of the deck. If it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, I can send one Shaddoll card from my deck to my graveyard. If it's flip face up, I can destroy one monster on the field. I played two Shaddoll Wendy. Wendy is the special summoner of the deck. If it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, I can special summon one Shaddoll monster from my deck in face down defense position. If it's flip face up, I can special summon one from the deck in face down or face up defense position. And now for the one-off Shaddolls, I use one Beast for draw power. I use one Hedgehog for searching monsters. I use one Dragon for destroying spells, and I use one Ariel. Ariel is the DD Crow of the deck, so it can remove up to 3 cards from my graveyard or my opponents. So that's it for the Shaddoll lineup. Now I'm going to move on to the zombie lineup. So I play one Mizuki. Mizuki is a special summoner. Once Zombie World is on the field, every monster in my graveyard is a zombie, so Mizuki can pretty much get back any card. My Shaddolls, my zombie cards, because everything in the graveyard is zombie once Zombie World is on the field. I played two Glow Up Bulb. Glow Up Bulb is a very powerful card. If this card is sent to the graveyard, I can remove it and add one zombie monster from my deck to my hand. If Zombie World is on the field, I can special summon that zombie monster instead. So Glow Up Bulb is a very strong card. I can go into my Doom King or I can go into my Eldritch. So this card is very good in this deck. It works well with Unizombie or Mathematician. I played two Necro World Banshee. Banshee is such a good card. It helps me go into my Zombie World really easy. If I summon my Unizombie or if I summon Mathematician, I can send the Banshee to the grave and then I get my field spell, which is the Zombie World. The Banshee is a very good card because it allows me to go into my Zombie World really quickly. And for the main zombie monster, the main starter, we have triple Uni Zombie. Once per turn, I can send one zombie monster from my deck to the graveyard and boost a monster's level on the field by 1. Also, I can discard one monster from my hand to the graveyard to boost the level of a monster on the field. So Unizombie is a very good card because it allows me to ditch cards from my hand. I can use it to activate Shaddolls monster's effect. I can also send zombies from my deck to my graveyard. And for the boss monsters for the deck on the zombie side, I have double Doom King and one Eldritch. The Doom King is a very disruptive card. It negates, it banishes, it's totally broken. One Zombie World is on the field, Doom King is super strong. Eldritch is another good card. I can remove cards from the field, special summon it. A very good card to have in the deck, and also it's a light target for my Shaddoll Fusion, so I can send it from my deck to the graveyard and it's in my graveyard and I can use its effect to bring it back. So that's it for the monster lineup. Now I'm going to move on to the spells. For the spell cards, I use one El Shaddoll Fusion and triple Shaddoll Fusion. Shaddoll Fusion is pretty much one of the best cards in the deck. I love this card so much. So the effect is I can fusion summon a Shaddoll monster from my extra deck using the fusion material in my hand or on the field. If my opponent has a special summon monster on the field, I can use materials from my deck instead. So this card is really good. So I can go into any one of my Shaddoll cards using a Shaddoll monster and a different attribute, and I can go into pretty much any Shaddoll monster in my extra deck that I want. And for the most disruptive card in the deck, I have triple Super Poly. Super Poly is broken in this deck. Now, I have some cards in my extra deck. I have some cards that work so well with Super Poly and Zombie World. They work so well together. So this one is one. I need another one of this card because I think if I have another one, two of them in this deck, it's really strong because I can fuse off my opponent's card once Zombie World is on the field. And for the MVP of the deck, Zombie World, pretty good card, pretty strong card. It turns every monster on the field and in the graveyard into zombie types. Now for the one-off spell cards, I use All by the Grave, Monster Reborn, Foolish Burial, and my tech card which helped me out in so many duels. This card is really good. Mass Change 2. Now Mass Change and Dark Law is the best thing ever. Get this first turn and you're golden. And that's it for my spell cards. Now moving on to the traps. I only played 2 trap cards, and that is Evenly Match. I think Evenly Match is a broken card. Activating this card at the end of a battle phase is crazy, especially if I go second and my opponent does a lot of things on his side of the field. This card is really strong. So that's the main deck. It's a total of 40 cards. Now I'm going to move on to the extra deck. Now the extra deck is not fully complete. I only have 13 cards in the extra deck to work with this deck, but the ones that I have work pretty well. These cards are mainly used with the Super Poly. I can use Dark monsters, I can use zombie monsters, and I can use monsters with the same attribute but different types. So these cards work pretty well with the Super Poly. For the Shaddoll cards, I have double El Shaddoll Winda. Winda is one of the cards that you'll be going into a lot, because if you want to use like Shaddoll Fusion and send out your zombie types, you might want to send out Banshee or Doom King, and it's dark. So this one is 1 Shaddoll monster and 1 dark monster. So this card is going to be summoning a lot. So the effect is each player can only special summon 1 monster per turn. It's a good effect, but it affects you as well. But you can go around it if you know how to play your cards. I play double El Shaddoll Construct. Construct is a very powerful card. Once you special summon, you can send 1 Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard, and if it battles a special summon monster, that monster is destroyed immediately. And if it's destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Shaddoll spell or trap card from your graveyard to your hand. This card is really strong, and every time I play this card, I feel so confident. I play 1 El Shaddoll Shikanaga and 1 El Shaddoll Apollon. Now these cards are really good. This one works very well with Mizuki because Mizuki is Earth, and this one works if I don't have a specific target. If I want to negate a monster's effect on the field, I can just go for this one. If these cards are sent to the graveyard, their effect activates, which allows me to add 1 Shaddoll spell or trap card from my graveyard to my hand. And for the final fusion monster, we have Dark Law. Dark Law is pretty good. It's an MVP of the extra deck. If this card is on the field, any monster sent to your opponent's graveyard is removed from play instead. And once per turn, if your opponent adds a card from your deck to their hand, which is not the draw phase, you can banish 1 random card from their hand. This card is really strong. I like it. It's so disruptive. I mean, it's really good. I played 2 Synchro monsters, and I think they work very well. I play 1 Crystal Wing and 1 Black Rose Dragon. Black Rose is, the destroyer of the field. It's a pretty cool card. I like playing this card. And Crystal Wing negates monster effects, so they're 2 pretty good cards. So I play 1 Salamangreat, Almirage, and 1 Zombie Sucker. So that's the deck. I only have 14 extra deck cards, but if you guys want to add 1 more, that's better. So thank you guys for watching my deck profile. Now for the rest of the video, I'm going to be showing you guys some duels that I did on Yugioh Pro. My deck really performed, so I hope you guys watch the entire video and see how good the deck really is. Again, thank you for watching the video, and I hope to see you guys in more videos to come.
I'm just fucking lit, man. I'm just fucking lit. Drink a bottle of this shit, man. Bottle of this shit. I'm about to write it. shit. No, I'm never gonna quit, man, never gonna quit. I just took another hit, man, took another hit. I'm about to lose my shit, man, about to lose my shit. Does she have a fucking wristband? Yeah, she needs that shit. Better get her out real quick, man, get her out real quick.
Are you the present or the future? Are you a drinker or a loser? Are you a giver or a user? Are you a winner or a loser?
And I said that I would never back down. And I said that I would never back down. And I said that I would never back down. I swore that I would never fucking back down. Pass the bottle and the fifth, man, bottle and the fifth. Cause I'm feeling like the shit, man, feeling like the shit. Yeah, her body's like a gift, man, body's like a gift. Cause she's looking hella fit, man, looking hella fit. And I can't always commit, man, can't always commit. Pull the trigger on this shit, man, trigger on this shit. Cause I feel I haven't lived, man, feel I haven't lived. Till I got nothing to miss, man, got nothing to miss.
Are you the present or the future?